It's the Guitar Dads. It's the Guitar Dads.
Welcome to the Guitar Dads Podcast, the podcast for guitar dads by guitar dads. This week, the wheel in the Silver Sky is turning. There's been Guitar Cave redos and planned redos. The dads give you music you need to listen to, and the top music sales of 2021 may surprise you. We're rolling in the deep with a PRS this week on the Guitar Dads Podcast. Now, Mr. Brightside and Mr. Roboto, Dave and Matt.
Hello, everybody. I'm Matt. Wait a minute,
And I'm Dave.
So wait, am I Mr. Roboto?
I don't know, and I reversed the names this week. See, this is what happens when we take a few weeks off from Christmas. I'm a little rusty.
You are a little bit rusty, but here we are. We're back at it. Welcome back to the podcast.
Welcome back.
Thank you all for listening. We had our guest John on last week, and we had a great time with him. It was our first episode back. This is our second episode back from our little break over the holidays. We're back in it, Dave. It feels like a million years ago.
Oh, it feels great, though. And a lot of thanks to John for coming on last week. It was a lot of fun. We're definitely going to have him on again. And thank you to the listener out there. We got a few new followers on our socials this week, so thank you. And a bunch of new listens on the pod. So we're really excited about the new year and what it's going to bring.
Thank you so much for listening. Please go and tell your friends and tell them you heard it here first.
Yeah. Well, where else would they hear it?
I guess
on Instagram at Guitar Dads Pod.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. But when we tell you about all these hot takes, just say, where did you hear that? Well, I heard it from the Guitar Dads.
Heard it from the Guitar Dads. Yeah, of course. Where else would you hear it from?
Or don't say that and just go about your life.
Or just enjoy your life. And don't worry about us.
And don't worry about us what's bit. But keep listening. Thank you very much for listening. So here we are, Dave. Let's get into some news and notes. There's been a lot of news and notes. We covered it. We covered some news briefly last week. It was some backlog news, but we got some real news this week, right?
Yeah, we got some real news this week as you catch me in the middle of a sip of my whiskey. Yeah, so here's one for. Well, I'm going to save this one till last, because it's kind of interesting to talk about.
All right, let's do it.
Made news this week. Bonnaroo is back. Bonnaroo, of course, as everybody knows, a massive music festival in Tennessee, and it got canceled last year because of Hurricane Ida.
Tennessee. Remember that song?
That is back on.
That's
and it's
song.
A monster lineup.
Who's the lineup?
Who's in the lineup? Oh, nobody you know.
Well, wait a minute. If it's a monster lineup, who's in the lineup? Do we know who's in the lineup?
Yeah, there's a bunch of big names in the lineup. I know for one, Tool is going to headline one of the nights, which I would like to see. I would really like to see Tool.
Oh, Tool is headlining Bonnaroo?
Yeah.
Interesting. Very cool. We're going to go crazy. People are going to go crazy to see the Gibson Les Paul not Silver Sky, Silver
Not
Burst.
the Silver Sky. That's later.
We're going to get there. So Bonnaroo, Dave, what are we going to go to Bonnaroo this year? What are we doing?
Oh man, one of these days I would love to go to Bonnaroo. That is definitely a bucket list, like a Guitar Dad's bucket list festival,
really?
Right? I mean,
you don't think
so?
You don't think we're too old?
I'm too old.
Okay,
well, for those
it is.
of you listening and not watching, Matt and I are actually 86 and 87 years old, respectively.
Are we too old to go see this? Okay, so you're
early
right. So
40s, we're too old to go to a music festival?
So this is why I'm old, because this is it. The Bonnaroo 2022 lineup announced. J. Cole, The War on Drugs, Japanese Breakfast, Tool, and more. I never even... Only band I've heard of on all those is Tool.
You never heard of War on Drugs? They're pretty good.
No, I've not heard of War on Drugs. Are they a rock band? What are they?
No, they're like a they're a mariachi band. Yeah, they're a rock band.
Oh, are they? I mean, they're a mariachi band. Okay, and then Stevie Nicks. So Stevie Nicks is going to headline Machine Gun Kelly. I mean, this is a snooze fest, Dave.
Maybe a snooze fest to you, but I think some of those names, Stevie Nicks, I think is cool. Tool.
Robert Plant and Alison Krauss.
Robert Plant and Alison Krauss.
Can we talk about that for a second? We haven't talked about
Yes.
this. Robert Plant and Alison Krauss released another album. I want to say they did an album like a while back, right, Dave? Like 10 years ago, maybe more?
Yeah, speaking of snooze fest.
I know. I mean, geez, like, can I just say, like, I think it's great that Robert Plant is like kind of reinvented himself with Alison Krauss, and that album had a lot of success, if we're honest, right? But it's just like, I mean, it's good. It's like bluegrassy country stuff, but it's like, it's Robert Plant. Come on, man, this is boring.
Yeah.
What do you think, Dave?
Well, we've talked about Robert Plant too. We've talked about the ideal post-Zeppelin Robert Plant should have been Billy Squier, right? Because, it's true. It's true. Anything Billy Squier did sounded just like what Robert Plant's like solo career should have turned into, right?
You're right. You're right about that.
The vocals, all the riffs. I mean, it was just right for Plant.
But
it wasn't Plant. It was Squier.
It was Squier. But it is cool that Robert Plant is out there making music at his age and, touring and doing this stuff. Because Jimmy Page, like, let's just be honest, he's not really doing anything.
He's not doing anything, but does he need to?
I mean, no, these guys don't need to do anything. This is why it's cool that Robert Plant is doing something. But, like, I'm sorry, like, I don't need to hear, like, a weird bluegrassy country version of, A Whole Lot of Love. Like, sorry, like, that's enough.
Well, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I agree with you, but sometimes I feel like, I don't want to say there's any like there's certainly no animosity between Jimmy Page and Robert Plant.
No.
But I feel like there may be some kind of like almost this like undertone of like slight jealousy because Jimmy is like, I mean, Robert himself is like obviously like a massive rock icon, right?
Totally.
But nobody ever
He's
thinks
the golden god.
Nobody ever like yeah, but Jimmy Page is always like the name and the face of Led Zeppelin, right? And so he doesn't need to do anything to solidify.
No, I guess you're right. Yeah. I mean, this is a valid point. Okay.
Is that I don't know. I'm asking the question. Is that what Robert Plant is trying to do right now to kind of further his legacy in music?
Well, yes, I think that is true. He's trying to further his legacy in music. But like, I listen to this stuff and I'm like, this is a snooze fest, man. Like,
well, so
I'd rather go listen to
his legacy.
I'd rather go listen to James Taylor. No. Look, like as artists get older, they have different tastes. They want to try some different things. Like, it's just what it is, like it's all good. And, look, some of the music is listenable. It's just boring. So, but whatever, good for Robert Plant for getting after it and still going out there and touring. But here's what's interesting. Like Stevie Nicks is like a headliner and Robert Plant is like on the second line of the Bonnaroo poster. I feel like that's like a snub to Robert Plant. Like, but at the same time, like he never really had a big solo career, whereas Stevie Nicks actually did. So
she had a massive career. So
I mean, but the thing is,
you think that's a snub though? I think it's appropriate.
Yeah, it's probably appropriate, but it's like it's effing Robert Plant. Like, come on. But I guess
that's my point. Like if it was Jimmy Page and Alison Krauss, right?
Maybe I don't know if that's true. It would probably
be a headlining gig.
Maybe
it would be a headlining. They'd be headlining.
Maybe, I don't know. I bet there's some killer band. I can't read all this because it's too small, but I bet there's some killer bands like when you get deep into this, like some of these really small print bands.
There are a couple of those on there.
But we'd have to check it out and see. But I'll tell you what, overall, it seems pretty poppy and I'm not impressed. So no, we're not going. We're definitely too old for this. So.
Well, in prior years, had a good lineup. But anyway, speaking of a lower end band, Bon Jovi announced a tour for 2022. Load up with the jokes tonight. Yeah, so Bon Jovi's going to kick off their tour April 1st, and this also hit the newswire. Phil X confirms that he's going to be using bass strings on all his guitars to allow for the down tuning low enough for Bon Jovi's voice.
That's terrible.
Hey,
Come on. But you're
I know.
right.
Hey, John's a friend of the show.
John cannot sing like he used to sing, but whatever. He still sounds good. He still got his good tone. He's still got some good songs. But I agree, like, it's almost painful to try to watch him sing some of the old hits. It just is. Like, let's just be honest.
It is.
You know?
It is.
But I like the newer stuff too. I think it'd be a good thing. But, you know, without, I agree though, like this tour, like without Richie and, you know, nothing against Phil X. He's incredible. I mean, he's an awesome.
Oh, he's amazing.
Do you follow him on Instagram? He's a great Instagram follow because he's completely nuts. And
He is.
He's hilarious. So if you guys don't follow him on Instagram, definitely go and check him out. But yeah, so yeah, this would be cool. Like, is this a show you and I are going to go to? Probably not.
Probably not. Yes, no, maybe no.
Probably not. But you know,
No.
seriously, but it's like, look, it's what it, like, you know, I did like the last album they put out called 2020. You didn't like it. I liked it. Did I like it enough to go to a concert? Nah, probably not. But
I mean,
anyway.
I got to see them back in the heyday, so I've kind of had my I
Yeah.
had my moment back then.
Yeah, that's
you know?
awesome. I wish I was there. I didn't see him back then. So
Yeah, no, I mean, well, maybe not heyday, but still, when they were still killing it, you know.
yeah,
I think it
like
was
back in the early 2000s and even into like, you know, up to like 2010 or so, they were sounding great, and John could really nail all the songs still. And
Yeah.
but yeah, something happened. It just went downhill. Like I think when his hair went gray, like it just. It just all went downhill.
He's kind of another one. We've talked about this, like Eddie Van Halen and like some of these other guys that did. Some rock stars have just purposely tried to maintain their look.
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And some just kind of let it go and like, okay, this is just what I look like now as I get older.
Yeah, exactly. Which is, you know,
weird.
I respect
Which is
it.
fine. Yeah,
I
it's
respect it. And you know, look, John Bon Jovi he's one of my like vocal idols. I mean, the guy's he's absolutely incredible. You know, but
he's a legend.
It's just not what he used to be. But I don't know. Maybe I don't know, Dave. If I could find like reasonable tickets, I'd go just to check it out and see what's going on. But the way ticket prices,
just hit the nail on the head. Reasonable tickets don't exist anymore.
The way ticket prices are these days, like I'm not gonna spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars to go to that show. So, oh well.
No. I mean, back in the day, I would have. Not now.
Yeah, not now. Anyway, so what else we got?
What else we got? Well, in leading the No One in Rock Cares category, the Grammys have been postponed.
Sorry, I laughed over the Grammys have been postponed.
The Grammys have been postponed. No date has been announced yet. But,
because of the Kron chowder.
Because of the Kron chowder. There we go. And speaking of popularity contests, do you know? Well, you do now. But do you know who name me the two top music selling artists in 2021? The two top artists of 2021 in music sales.
Oh, geez.
Do you know?
Olivia Rodrigo.
No.
Adele.
Oh,
Adele. Okay, all right.
Which makes sense.
Machine
right?
Gun Kelly.
And not Machine Gun Kelly.
Okay, all right. Who else?
Morgan Wallen.
Morgan Wallen.
A little out of your wheelhouse, but he's a great country artist.
Oh, I don't know Morgan Wallen. I know like some of the other guys, but I don't know. I know some of the other bro country, but is he like a bro country guy, Dave?
He's got a lot of different. He does a lot of different things. I think he kind of fits the mold of a few things, which I think you would enjoy. And I think you should listen to.
Well, it's probably not going to be long before he has his bar on the Broadway Strip in Nashville, because that's.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised a guy like that doesn't. He's a really big name. Everybody else has one down there.
It's more of the guys that have been popular for like 10 plus years that have them. Like I'd say like the most modern artists that have bars are Jason Aldean, Luke Bryan.
Why doesn't John Bollinger have one?
I know. John, get yourself a bar on the Strip. John Bollinger.
Come on, John. We would support that. I would fly down just to go to that bar.
The other thing that happened, now this is sad, but also not that sad, is that the Dirty Honey and Wolfgang Van Halen tour has been postponed as well. And so
just a short period of time,
like a month
but
or
it's probably
so.
smart.
Yeah, but like a month or
Yeah.
so. Yeah. So I agree. I think it's probably a smart move so it won't get shut down. Because Dave, we were talking about this when we went skiing last weekend. We were talking like, I hope this show actually happens because I'm thinking it's going to get canceled because somebody in either camp is going to come down with COVID and the thing is going to get shut down or postponed. So I think it's great that they decided let's just be a little bit safer about this and postpone. So I think they said they're going to start towards the end of February. So about a month postponed. So we'll see them in March, shortly after we see Slash. Actually,
Yes.
and now that I brought up Slash is due out another single off the album tomorrow, off the album that's coming out in February. Tomorrow they're dropping. Yeah,
I forgot about
they're
that.
dropping another single, and like kind of going along with this single is another one of Slash's signature Gibson guitar. Looks like they're gonna come out with a. I know we're getting into gear, but it looks like they're gonna come out with like another like red color of Slash's signature. I think it's just going to be another Gibson USA Slash red, but this like a red kind of a color. A few years back they did one called the Rosa Corsa, which was a cool color. And that's where it's like another.
Yeah,
I think it's like closer to that one. There actually is a red one now, isn't there, in the USA line? It's like a red black burst kind of thing.
It's like a red, it's like I forget what they call it, right?
Yeah.
It is like a red black burst.
Yeah,
It looks and tell you that to me, like that's kind of like we talked about this on the pod. Which is your favorite one? I kind of like the Anaconda the best, but that the red one is kind of like a close second.
Yeah, what's that one called, Dave?
I forget.
Anyway, that one's cool. So actually, now that I say that, it coincides with the album, which is called 4. So maybe it's a custom shop and not a USA. I don't know. We'll find out.
I'm surprised such a massive Slash fan as yourself, you don't know the information.
But it hasn't. It's just been teased on Insta. It hasn't been announced yet. So this is just speculation. But so all you Slash fans out there, definitely check out the YouTubes and everything tomorrow and check out the single that has come out. We will report on it next week. Actually, speaking of that, Dave, we never reported on the second single that was released off the Slash album, which we thought was kind of good, but it's like a ballady song. It's like one of these like classic like Miles and Slash kind of ballads, it's pretty good. It's not like it's not like amazing. It's not like blow me away, but it's pretty good. It's better than the other GNR songs.
Yeah, it's a lot better than the GNR songs. Now, I'll tell you something interesting because I listened to the Eddie Trunk podcast today, and he had DJ Ashba on last week.
Oh yeah.
And so we aired the interview today. Now DJ said that both Slash and maybe if I remember correctly, but either way, Axl has said that they have not written anything new, but they put out 2 new songs.
GNR.
Right? Yeah,
of course they have.
So they have. So they haven't written anything new for an album, but I found that really kind of contrary to actual reality because they put out 2 new songs.
Yeah. What did Eddie say about that? That seems kind of suspect to me.
He kind of glanced over, just kind of kept going.
Oh,
so I
okay.
think that I was hearing that, I was thinking like, well, wait a minute, that's not true because over the course of the summer and the fall tour, they released 2 songs, which were terrible, but
which are not
they
good.
still released them.
I mean, that's why I was saying I wouldn't be surprised if they got enough stuff to release an album. It looks like because Slash is going to go out and supporting his own album this winter, we probably won't see an album from them anytime soon. But I mean, they could have been recording it over, when they were locked down. I don't know, the way that they kind of recorded the Slash and the Conspirators album. So
they might have.
I mean, who knows? I mean,
they're so secretive with everything.
I know
it's hard to really keep track.
But I still speculate that we may get some kind of GNR album in 2022. I'm still holding out,
and it's just not going to be good.
And it's not. I was going to say, but I'm not holding out hope that it's going to be great. So anyway, but it's kind of cool if it does happen. But anyway, is that our news and notes section? Should we move on?
That's our news and notes this week. Let's go on.
Do you want to talk about like gear that we acquired over the break?
Yeah.
Or what do you want to talk about?
Let's talk about. Yeah, no, I think it's a great idea. Geez, look, it's right in our notes too.
Well, actually, wait a minute. Let's talk
How
about this.
convenient.
Let's talk about this because this is prior to getting into gear, and it is in the notes, and I kind of skipped over it, Dave. But we we kind of spent some time out there discovering new bands over the break because this is what we do as guitar dads. We scour the interwebs for up and coming, amazing guitar dad rockery bands.
Just
And
for our listeners.
just for
Only
you,
for our listeners.
just for you guys, right? And we
Yeah.
did come across a couple that we think are noteworthy enough to tell you guys about, our listeners. So Dave, like the first one, I'll talk about the first one because it was a band that a friend of mine, Steve, actually told me about. Steve, I don't know if you're listening, but if you are, thank you for the recommendation. There's a band called Plush, and it is an all-girl band, woman band, and they are younger women, and they are just doing straight-ahead hard rock. I'd say it's more on the modern rocky side. It's not like a blues-based rock. There's a lot of blues influence, but I would say it's more on the modern rocky kind of thing. It turns out they opened the Hailstorm and Evanescence tour for a bunch of dates. So so I kind of heard about them because of that. I was like, oh, interesting. And then my friend Steve actually told me about them, and then I checked them out, and they are just a bunch of kick-ass women who are playing live, doing it all real, and singing and playing, and you don't see a lot of all female bands anymore, especially like rock bands. And this is it's refreshing to see, and they're kicking ass. Like I think they have an album out that's pretty good that I listened to, or at least an EP out, I think. And the thing that really blew me away is they did some covers. I think it was what was it, Dave? Like Spotify or somebody. It was on YouTube, and they did some covers. And they did a cover of Alice in Chains' "Down in a Hole," which is just killer. Did you watch that, Dave? Did you watch it?
Yeah.
It's really good. So like these girls they're just great. So absolutely go and check out, and they just rock hard, right? And they have actually a live concert, like a whole like set up on YouTube that is good sound and everything. It's not like a fan shot thing, it's like a real shot thing, and it sounds great, and they are good, and they're kicking ass live, and they're doing it live.
They're fantastic. They're absolutely fantastic. Check them out. Plush.
Check them out. Plush. And then there's
another band we kind of discovered.
Yeah.
This band we so as Matt mentioned, we were heading up skiing last weekend. And thank you to the Apple algorithm, we came across this band who the first song we heard, they were under the name Black Coffee.
Yeah.
Apparently they've now changed their name to South of Eden.
Yep.
Either way,
Yep.
killer band.
Yep.
That classic like Les Paul Marshall sound, which is exactly what the guitar dads love.
Yeah. Yeah, that is all guitar dads all the time. Les Pauls and like Dave and I like looked at each other because we're riding in the car. And Dave, what were we listening to before it came on? Maybe Slash or something.
I think Slash, something like that. And then like the algorithm just put this on, and we were like, have you heard this song before, Dave? No, I haven't. What is it? This is awesome. So then we listened to killer.
So then we listened to their EP. And it's good. They got like a really wailing singer, and it is.
Yeah, he's another one.
Yeah, he is, and it's like Les Pauls and Marshalls and just ripping, guys. It's really good. It's really good.
So check them out.
South of Eden.
Black Coffee and South of Eden. I think the EP is under South of Eden. Right?
South of Eden is what you want to listen to. Yeah, and I think even the Black Coffee stuff shows up when you type in South of Eden. So again, so see, there it is. The guitar dad's bringing you what you need.
We'll find you the music that you really want to listen to on the show every week.
But if you got songs or bands that you guys know that we haven't talked about on the show, just, reach out and let us know, and we'll check them out and shout them out. Because again, this is one of the reasons we started the podcast, is to discover new rock music, and it's out there. Rock is alive and well.
Yeah, definitely. You guys send us your comments on Instagram at GuitarDadsPod and mention some new bands that we really should be listening to, because this is kind of how you spread the word these days.
Yeah.
A lot of rock bands aren't making it into mainstream music, and unless you're your streaming algorithms are going to catch it, you're not necessarily going to hear a lot of these bands that are out there unless you're actively looking for them, or you're on YouTube or wherever, and you're just trying to find some of these guys. But there's so many great bands out there.
Yeah.
And this is like the music community. As a music community, we should be sharing them together, right? So let us know.
Don't despair when you see a Bonnaroo lineup and it's like Machine Gun Kelly and God knows who else, and you're like, this is terrible. Music is terrible. No, it's not. There's amazing bands out there that are doing it right. And we just gave you a couple of examples. Obviously we talk about a host of other bands that are doing it right. So just, spend a little more time, and check out these bands. They keep rock alive. It's awesome. So there we are. So,
there we go.
So yeah, Dave. So we actually did acquire, we're going to get into the gear now for those of you that like gear. We did acquire some new gear over the new year.
The new gear. There you go.
Who wants to go
what a
first?
Catchy phrase.
Who wants to go first?
Why don't you go? Why don't you go first?
Yeah, because you have more stuff than I do. I didn't actually do a ton of new gear over the holidays. My wife again called up the guitar pedal shoppy in Plymouth, Massachusetts. Go check them out. And she talked to the folks over there, and they hooked me up with an Orca delay. It's made by GFI Systems. Dave, I never even heard of GFI Systems. I never heard of this pedal. It's essentially a a delay, right? Which is, it's digital. It's a digital delay pedal, but there's like 8 modes on it. So there's all kinds of different delays, and it is...
Have you gotten a chance to really play around with it?
Oh, yeah. I've spent a lot of time with it, and it's incredible the sounds I can get out of this thing. So, like, instantly, I got U2 sounds, right? So, like, I think, Dave, the day after Christmas or something, I sent you, like, a little video of me playing, like, some U2...
So good.
Some U2 songs. Because
that's such, like, that's a real, like, elusive kind of delay sound to really get easily on a, on a pedal.
Yeah. And it just nails those type of tones. And, but I'll tell you what, Dave, the thing, I don't think I've talked to you about this, off the air. But one thing that I actually discovered in this pedal, which I never really played along, I've never had a pedal like this, is tape echo. So tape echo.
Oh, yeah.
Tape echo people rave about, like it's this amazing thing. Now I understand why. Like
there is a tape echo cult.
Oh, well,
like there are people that...
Exactly. Yeah. So I totally understand why tape echo is such a big thing, because this is a digital version of it, and it sounds absolutely incredible. And I'll tell you what, I like to do it like longer type of delay, because you can still do the U2 with that, although that's not really the U2 sound, but you can still get like the longer delay, like the more ambient stuff, which is incredibly cool. But I actually think it sounds incredible as more of a slapback, just for like lead tones. I think it just opens up the sound, and it's just, so I can't get enough of it. Every time I turn on the Marshall behind me, I put the tape echo on, and I'm just ripping. It's incredible. So,
now, does it sound like it's called the Orca? Can you get whale sounds?
You can
all?
absolutely get whale sounds if you have. Like,
okay,
woo.
Good.
So you do like volume swells with the deck with the delay. It's like woo woo. It's like the ocean in my.
It's like the ocean.
It's like
here.
the ocean in my room over here. What's going on? Yeah. Anyway.
What a cool vibe.
It really actually, this pedal it's really like I'm kind of newer to, even though I've been playing guitar forever and I've always had a delay pedal. Like I have a Boss DD5 that I've had for probably 20 years now, which is kind of crazy to think, but it's true. I got it when I was in college. So there you go.
Well, would you say then your new obsession with this is a little delayed?
Well, yeah, like
really flying tonight.
I found a couple of the sounds I like on the delay on the DD5, and I use that. And I never really got super into delay, but then I got this thing, and I started to play around with all the delays, and it's really cool. And that's the thing is I have an HX Stomp which has all the Line 6 delays, which are incredible. And and I haven't really spent a lot of time with that because I'm like, delays. But this pedal, like, wow, it's next level. It sounds great. So highly recommend.
Very cool.
GFI Systems. And thank you again to Guitar Pedal Shoppy.
Yeah, got it. Thanks, Rick. We
Rick,
really appreciate
shout
all
out
your
to Rick.
recommendations.
Yeah, man.
Now, if I can only get my wife to call Rick, I'd be really happy.
Yeah, get your wife to call Rick. He hooks you up. So it's the way it goes. So
yeah, check them out. Guitar Pedal Shop.
They
SHOPPE.
Yep. And
check them out online.
And they ship worldwide, guys. So you don't have to be
Mr.
local.
Worldwide.
Don't have to be
What
local.
does this have to do with Pitbull?
You know, I saw that Pitbull's playing the Lynn Auditorium.
Is he really?
You want to go see him, Dave?
People don't know where the Lynn Auditorium is.
Mr. Worldwide. It's a very small kind of a theater.
Yeah.
I thought he was like Mr. Worldwide, but apparently he's playing like smaller theaters. But anyway.
Yeah, he's Mr. Tiny Theater.
Mr. Tiny Theater. But good for him. He's still out there touring. So
yeah.
What about you, Dave? Dave, you've had a gear journey.
I have had a massive gear journey. So if you're looking behind me and you're familiar with anything that I've ever posted online, all my amps are gone, and I've got some new stuff partially in the room and coming. So against Matt's better wishes, I wanted to get. So we were up at Manchester Music Mill, which is in Manchester, New Hampshire. Check them out too; they're awesome.
Oh, great store.
And I really wanted to get that. I really wanted to get that nice clean tone out of an amp, and I happened to come across, and yes, I know it's not a tube amp, but there was a used Fender Champion 40, and I really dug the cleans out of it, and it was only $125. And yeah, well, you know what, I'm going to take it home, and I really liked it.
Yep, but
that
got you into a Fender rabbit hole, didn't it?
That put me in the Fender rabbit hole, and thanks to Matt too, pushing me through that rabbit hole, down that rabbit hole.
I didn't do anything.
You totally did. And then you're like, well, it's not a tube amp. You really should get like a Blues Junior or something.
Yes,
said,
that's
you know what?
true.
You're right.
But
In fact, I think if you go back a few episodes on the pod, you suggested that I might even consider a Hot Rod Deluxe.
Oh, maybe I did say that. Now the truth comes out.
Maybe you did say that. And then against your better wishes, I did. And I got a Hot Rod Deluxe, and I don't even know why they put the volume pot on there that above 2. It should just go 0, 1, 2, done. Because that thing is so loud.
Well, Dave, how does it? I mean, you can't get it.
Well,
low,
I don't
right?
gig with it, so
it does have a volume jump, doesn't it? Like it goes from like 0 to like blaring loud, right?
Yeah, it's not. It's definitely a gigging amp. It's not something you really want to be playing in your bass. Although it sounds amazing.
Well, you have a basement.
So yeah, now I got a Hot Rod Deluxe, and I really love the tones out of it. And then
what pedals
I finally
said... But hold on. What pedals have you put through it that you really like? Because I think like the Fender thing, especially the Hot Rod, it does really well with some pedals. With all pedals.
It really does. And I'll tell you what sounds really great through it.
Yeah.
Is using my Green Rhino, which is a tube screamer-ish pedal, and just kind of pushing it with the tumness. It sounds incredible.
That's cool. Yeah, people love that into a clean amp. That like a tube screamer and a Klon type of a combo through a clean amp is just really great overdrive sound. So,
it's a great sound.
There you go. There you have it. Awesome, man.
And then I also got rid of my DSL, which I loved.
What?
I got rid of the DSL, which I loved, but you know what? I kind of wanted. I'm a pedal guy, and I really enjoy playing with pedals, right? And I never used the dirt channel on the DSL. You and I both agree it was terrible. The red channel's
the red channel's not good on the DSL.
No,
I mean it's not terrible, but it's not like it's usable.
It's not a Marshall dirty sound. It's not.
Yeah, it's usable, but it's not like you're better off with pedals. I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, well, I'm never really using that, and that amp really shines with the crunch channel, which is great and everything, but I kind of want something a little bit different, and play around with something a little bit more like pedal friendly. And so, did my homework like a typical guitar dad. Spent a couple weeks on YouTube and searching around, and I ended up landing on somewhat of it. Now it gets very good reviews, but a somewhat of a controversial kind of amp here, and I landed on the Marshall Origin.
Yes, good move.
So I did. So
well,
I got.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, Dave, I've come around to the Marshall Origin, but Dave basically did this without much consultation with me, which I think he was right, because I would have just said, nope, you got to buy like something high end.
Exactly.
You got to buy something high end or don't do it at all. So, but Dave is actually proving a great thing, guys, that we have to remember as guitar dads, because I know a lot of you guys got kids in daycare and it's expensive, and even if you don't, like, you know, you got homes, you got families, like being a guitar dad is not easy, because it's like you don't have the money to spend on gear, right? So
I think for the value,
the money, it's good.
That amp sounds great.
Yeah,
that amp sounds great, and I got the matching cab that's supposedly supposed to be voiced well for it, but I'm going to switch out the speakers anyway once I finally get the amp. So I bought the 20 watt head.
Yeah.
And I was playing in the store, and I'm like, oh, that sounds great. And then the guy from this was a Guitar Center, and the guy doing lessons comes over and he goes, oh, did you see the 50 watt head came in? It's used. It's over here, and it's actually cheaper than the 20 that you just bought, and I think you should buy this. And I started talking to him about, well, I'm a basement player. I'm not really ever going to gig the thing, and do I really need 50 watts? And like, yeah, he convinced
and then
me
he
to
convinced you do need 50 watts.
Yeah, you do need 50 watts. Why wouldn't you need 50 watts? What the hell? Yeah, I do need that extra headroom for the the gigs that I play by myself in the basement. So yeah, I'm gonna pick that up in a few weeks, because it was one of the
it's on hold. Yeah,
it's on hold.
It's on
you gotta
police
wait
hold.
until it.
Yeah,
It's
on police hold. Well, I hope it doesn't come back as stolen, Dave. So
yeah, I don't think it was.
No, I don't think it was either. I think you'll be fine. Oh, that's awesome.
But I'm really looking forward to it.
So you're gonna be rocking. So are you gonna run those like a wet dry setup?
I just might. Yeah, you're gonna have to teach me a little bit more about that, because this will be my first kind of go at that kind of thing.
You can also, you know what else you can do, which is kind of a cool thing, is the dirty clean. Right? So wet dry and also dirty clean. So like you run like something dirty, like you run the what do you got there? That distortion pedal, Dave, the Eris.
The Eris.
Yeah, like the earth, what is it? Earthquake or Walrus? The Walrus Eris. You run that like a distorted, like kind of a heavier tone, and then you run it in stereo with a cleaner like Edge of Breakup Hot Rod Deluxe tone. You get this really kind of cool like thing going on. So I don't know, you can definitely experiment with that, which is cool.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be fun. It's gonna be loud.
Man. It's gonna be loud. Make sure that the kids aren't asleep or anything, but if they are,
all that talk we did about practice volume a few weeks ago, well, that's out the window.
Goes out the window for Dave, at least. Dave's not interested.
That's right.
Dave's not so interested in low volume. So
no.
But
I've come to the conclusion, and this is what all guitar dads, all of you listening out there, I'm sure a number of you have come to this conclusion. You know what? If you're going to play, you want to have fun. And if volume is your fun, turn it up.
Volume is fun, but I will say, like, not to be too much of like a killjoy, but watch your hearing.
Here we go.
Watch your hearing. Dave, you're the healthcare person. Watch your ears. It's not worth it to blow your ears
You're
out.
Right. You're right. No, you're right.
So just be careful there. So, but other than that, do your thing and have a great time. Turn it up and blow your hair back and have a great time. So anyway, awesome, Dave. So speaking of gear, we would be remiss.
You would be remiss
if we didn't talk about
this.
What happened this week. There was 2 days ago, a major announcement hit the gear community, and that is the PRS John Mayer Silver Sky SE version. And for those of you that don't know what SE means, SE is Paul Reed Smith's like Far East import line, right? And this thing is clocking in, get ready for it, $850 USDs.
So what are your thoughts? Are you gonna buy one?
I watched about a dozen a dozen of the YouTube videos.
And you watched a dozen more.
And I watch a bunch of them, and the reviews are, granted, PRS blasted these out to every YouTuber, that has a good audience. So like they were provided with the thing. A few of them said like, yes, they were provided with the guitar, but PRS isn't paying them to do this video. So, I always like to go to Phil McKnight. I think he's probably the most honest about
He really is.
what's going on.
He really is.
So, I mean, definitely go and check out his review of this if this is something you're interested. He gives it very high marks. I mean, he really went over this thing with a fine-tooth comb, and you're hard-pressed to really, see anything wrong with this at an $850 price point. Considering it's replicating, a $2,500 guitar, it looks really high quality. It sounds great. I saw a bunch of YouTubers that have, the USA model did sound comparisons. Again, these people are doing high kind of, production stuff. So I'm always skeptical of that, right? Like, what EQing are they putting on it? What's really good? You're not hearing a raw version of this. You're hearing compression and all kinds of different things. But anyway, but still, like, a lot of these people were blown away, I think, kind of genuinely about this thing and how good it is. So I don't know. I think they're going to sell an absolute shit ton of these. And
yeah, I agree.
And am I going to pick one up? Probably eventually. I'm going to hold out until they release the Roxy Pink SE version.
See, that is the only one I could
will.
Ever get behind. That is the only one I could ever get behind. And then here we go. Hot take again. Am I like one of the few people that I just don't get the Silver Sky?
A lot of people are in that camp. Yeah, a lot of people are like, it's a Strat with a PRS headstock. Yes,
exactly.
Yes,
that's exactly what it is.
Yes, it is. I've talked to a lot of people who are really into Strats. Not a lot of people, but let's say like a handful of people that are really into Strats. And they
don't lie to the listeners.
Exactly. Like, let's not exaggerate. But like more than a few people have said the USA Silver Sky plays like a really great Fender custom shop. And Fender custom shops, as are like $4,000+ So if you can get a PRS with 26, PRS is just known for quality. They're known for real good instruments.
No, of course.
And Dave, you have an SE PRS. I played it. It's great.
It's great.
It's a great guitar.
I do like it, but it's got the PRS thing. This literally is just like a Strat with a PRS headstock, and then you got the birds on the fretboard. That's it.
Yeah, you're right about that. So I mean, if we're honest,
and you're getting some great. I'm sure you're getting some great pickups, especially with the US model, but even with the SE, you're getting some great pickups.
Yep.
However, I would argue, why wouldn't you just play a Fender? Why didn't you just play a Strat?
Well, here's the thing. So the SE version. So I think there's a couple of things. If we go to the USA version of the Silver Sky, like I said, it can run with a custom shop at almost twice the price of what you buy for a new. A USA Silver Sky, right? So that's the advantage of it. And I've played them and they're great. I haven't played a lot of Fender custom shops, but it feels real good. Now the SE is interesting, right? Because what's your alternative in that market? $850. What's your alternative for a good Strat in that price range? You're really talking about, the kind of the higher end Mexican stuff. Right, that's what you're talking about at that price.
Oh,
range.
Apples to apples.
Yeah. You're talking about the higher end stuff and the player series, and some of those kind of special edition player series stuff. And the player series are very good. They're great guitars. Are they as good as the Silver Sky? I mean, we're gonna see. But I'd love to see some YouTubers do like a comparison of here's a like a Baja style. Strat, and here is like I'm trying to think about like the what are the ones, Dave, that they're like the player version classic vibes that are like $1,000. That's why I say Baja, because Baja is,
what do they call like a player plus?
Essentially the player plus is the new line. Thank you. Yes. Talking about $900, almost $1,000. Those are great. I'd love to see somebody do a comparison between that and the SE Silver Sky. But the quality usually on those guitars is usually higher than stuff made in the Far East. But at the same time, like these things people are raving about these SEs, so it's going to be good. But you're going to see them everywhere. You're going to see a ton of them. The guitar player in my band, Paul, our lead guitar player, he recently got only a couple of months ago, he recently got a Silver Sky and he absolutely loves it. And then he texted me when the SE came out and he goes, did you see this? And I was like, I saw it. And he goes, and I go, I'm probably going to pick one up eventually. He goes, don't bring it to rehearsal. I don't want to know if that's just as good as and it's a third of the price.
Yeah, he'll be quite disappointed.
Yeah. I said,
I don't blame him.
I said, I highly doubt that it's just as good, but I said, is it passable? Probably pretty passable. So anyway, but that's what's driving the guitar community absolutely insane this week. And for people like Dave that are like, I don't really care about this guitar, it's driving them a little insane. For people like me who are Mayer fans and love the Silver Sky, and
I'm a huge Mayer fan.
Yeah.
I just find I don't want to. I mean, maybe gimmicky is a bit too much of a word to describe this at all. I mean, I shouldn't go that far, but I feel like it's just like it kind of. I don't know. I feel like it was like PRS made a move. They wanted to get John Mayer on board, so they decided to rip a headstock off his Strat, pop their headstock on, and boom, here's your guitar. This is what you're gonna play.
Well, I mean,
and then he made.
That's not really true. Like, go listen.
No,
I know. Go listen to the interviews. They took like 10 years to make this Strat. I know. Well, but that was what was so controversial about the Silver Sky when it came out, like in 2018, because it was like, okay, so it's like, oh, you got a big announcement. Okay, it's a Strat with a PRS, and they're like, this took us 3 years to develop, and everyone's like, what? Okay, it's a Strat. But if you really get into the details, it's got some real subtly cool things. So anyway.
Yeah, I know it does.
Yeah.
It does. I know. I shouldn't bash it that much, but I know I'm not alone. I'm not alone.
Yeah. So there we have it. That's the Silver Sky SE. So yes, when they come out with one in Roxy Pink or some other color I really like, I will get it. The colors now are cool, but not really my thing. So
I gotta tell you, the Roxy Pink could convince. If they come up with a Roxy Pink SE, I could be convinced to buy that.
You really?
That looks super cool.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, that looks super cool.
It's such a great color.
That looks super
the
cool.
Roxy
I don't
Pink.
know why.
And then you have to wear like a windbreaker and play it. Yeah,
that's right. And just play sob rock all day long.
You have to wear a windbreaker or a like an 80s ski jumpsuit.
Oh yeah, well that I could get behind.
Yeah, we're gonna do that. We're gonna do that when we go on our ski trip, Dave. We're gonna wear
that's right
80s
jumpsuits
ski jumpsuits
with a guitar.
Oh, it's so good. All right.
Oh man.
All right, man.
Well, that was fun this week.
Yeah, that's it this week. It's what we got for you.
That's what we got for you. So thank you again to all of our listeners out there. Keep listening. Tell all your friends. Check us out on Instagram at GuitarDadsPod. And make sure you check all every day, all day, because we're constantly posting things these days. Every day there's several things going up. So
there's a lot of memes. There's a lot of memes going up. I think some of you might have actually found us from our Fruity Pebbles meme.
Yes.
Fruity Pedals.
Fruity Pedals.
Fruity Pedals. Go check it out on Instagram.
Check it out. Find us there. But thank you again, and we really look forward to a fun year to come. A lot of fun things coming up, and hopefully next week we do have another interview coming your way.
Yes.
We're going to tease that, and I'll let you know who it is. But it's going to be a good one.
It's going to be a good one.
So make sure you tune in next week to the Guitar Dads podcast. But I think for this week, that was the Guitar Dads podcast.
Keep rock alive. Catch you guys on the flip.